Welcome everybody to my channel. This is Lori's Kitchen, real food for your health, and I'm Lori. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for tortillas. If you're a keto or you're gluten-free, I think this is going to be something that you're going to love and it's going to work well for you. So let's get going. All right, let's get started. I've already got our measurements taken care of and our ingredients are laid out. So we have 1.8 ounces in weight of blanched almond flour. Very important, make sure you get the ones that don't have the skin in them. That can cause inflammation in the body. So the blanched almond flour is best. We have 1.8 ounces of flaxseed meal. We also have our coconut flour here, and that's 0.7 ounces right there for you. We have 0.2 ounces of psyllium husk powder. This is going to make our tortillas nice and pliable. I know folks out there also use like xanthan gum, things of that nature. For me personally, it's a little bit on the slimy side. That's just me. Psyllium husk though works great. One of my favorites. We're going to use 4 fluid ounces of warm water. And for our seasonings, we're going to use a half teaspoon of ground cumin, some salt. I prefer, if you can find it, the chile ancho powder, great flavor. If you want an extra kick, you can always add in the paprika. And for extra flavor and added vitamin Bs, really good stuff, nutritional yeast. That's all there is to it. Again, this is going to be, if you're on a keto diet, this is going to be right within your macros there. If you're low carb, that'll help too. For those who have gluten intolerances, this will work with you. If you are vegan, this should be just fine. The only thing I'll say is that when I cook them here towards the end, I do use a little bit of bacon grease, so you can go ahead and switch that out for either avocado oil, which does great in higher temperatures. So we're going to go ahead and mix up our dry ingredients and just whisk that up really quick. I tend to use a fork, my personal preference there, and get that mixed up really good. Now once we have all of that put together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our seasonings here and I'm going to add the half teaspoon of the cumin, my chile ancho powder, I'm going to do a little bit of salt here. And this is to taste. If you want to give it a little bit of spice, the paprika is great. So I'm just going to do about a 1/4 teaspoon of that. And then for my nutritional yeast, I do about a tablespoon. I'll put that in there. And you go ahead, finish mixing up your dry ingredients. And then we're going to add in our 4 fluid ounces of warm water. Now this is going to be a little on the thick side when you start out. And hopefully you can see that without too much trouble. You make sure you get it all in there. Sorry, I just knocked the camera. So it's going to be a little stiff. As you can see, it kind of crumbles, and that's okay. And the trick to this is that once you get it all pretty much incorporated, we're gonna let it sit for about 45 minutes. And that helps the water that we added in here to this to absorb, or to be absorbed by the flaxseed meal. And that's going to give us a nice, great flavor. I grew up with corn tortillas as a kid, coming from a Hispanic family, so doing keto for the last couple of years, the corn tortillas and of course the flour tortillas are a big no-no. So this is a wonderful substitute. And that flaxseed meal in here really gives it that texture. All right, so we've got this nice, it's nice and thick. You can see it's really stiff. And we're just gonna let that sit here. And what I like to do is I like to take a paper towel and get it damp. And while we wait for the 45 minutes, I'm just going to sit this over the top so that the top of that thing, our mixture here, doesn't dry out. All right? So we're going to let that sit and we'll be back. Okay, now while we're waiting for basically our masa to go ahead and absorb some water here, there's a couple things I want to point out. A good food scale is going to be handy. As I mentioned earlier, the measurements I gave you were in ounces per weight, except for the water, which was in fluid ounces, and of course our spices that we used, which were in 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoons and tablespoons. So it's really a really nice thing to have. If you're not really big into using a food scale, for certain types of recipes, it comes in handy. And especially for this one, I've tried going ahead and doing maybe a 3/4 cups and stuff like that. It doesn't quite work out right. So I found the weight measurement as soon as I find a nice balance in there, and that's the recipe that I'll use. If I can get away with rounding it up to like a 1/2 cup, a cup or so, then I will definitely do that. So again, for our recipe today, I used the food scale to measure it all out. And again, that was 1.8 ounces in weight of your almond flour. Same thing with your flaxseed meal. And the coconut was at 0.7 ounces. Psyllium husk was at 0.2 ounces in weight. Again, the water was 4 fluid ounces. And then salt to taste, cumin, chile ancho powder, paprika. You can do that to taste anywhere between 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon. It depends on your tastes. And then one of the other pieces of equipment that I use for this particular recipe, coming again from a Hispanic family, I gotta have my little tortilla squisher here. So we will be using that here in a minute once this is ready. But you can use a rolling pin, you can use your hand, you can use a plate, whatever the method you want to, basically flatten out the mixture as thin as you can will work just fine. Again, coming from a Hispanic background, I got to use my good trusty tortilla squisher here. Okay, and 45 minutes, here we go. As you can see, it's going to be stiff. And at this point, we're going to take our masa here and we're going to roll it into a ball about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in diameter. Just depends on how big you want your tortillas is all. So once you go ahead and get your ball done up, I'm going to take my tortilla squisher here. And what I've got is some baking paper here, parchment paper, just to keep make it easier to get off of the squisher here. So I'll sandwich that just like so. and we'll press down. And there you have your tortilla. So I've got my little pan heated up here. We're going to put that on there. And we're just going to give it on a medium heat, medium to low. You don't want to burn it. And we'll give it like a minute or two on each side, just to make sure it's done. And we'll be going from there. So again, it all depends on how big you want your tortillas. You want some small ones, kind of like little street taco size, you can do that. You can do the bigger ones. I've also went ahead and done this and left them a little bit thicker so that you can use these as like a gordita or a flatbread. Works great on hamburgers, I'm telling you. But there you go. And once we go ahead and cook this up, we'll show you the final product. All right, we're back. And this is our finished product. We have a small tortilla here. Great. I will go ahead and make sure that the recipe is in the comments below. And you get the nutritional facts on this. So in case you need to know that, you'll have that. But here is our tortilla. As you can see, it's pliable. It's nice. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful substitute for a tortilla. Great flavor. You can play with it as much as you'd like. I am going to have a little bit of this because this stuff is pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me. I do appreciate the fact that you took your time to check me out, hang out with me for a little bit, and see what's going on here. If you liked it, please leave me a comment. If you want, subscribe, hit the like button. That would be great. I will try to post more videos at least once a week. Again, I concentrate on a holistic approach to eating. So a lot of the stuff that I'll do is geared towards getting rid of inflammation in the body, reactions to processed foods and things of that nature. A lot of the stuff that I do is keto, but we also do low carb here. We go ahead and try to do all natural, non-GMO stuff. So if you're interested in more stuff like that, let me know. Leave some comments. If you're interested in something particular, again, let me know. Once more, thank you for hanging out with me and spending your time with me. I appreciate it. See you next time.